If it's Thursday night, say yeah, for it's another edition of Strictly Sports. Hello, friends. Anthony Florio here alongside good old MF Michael Fletcher. We are awaiting perhaps the presence of Michael Bullock. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we'll hopefully have him back with us tomorrow night at this time for the Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95. Very loaded edition of the show tonight. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to dive right in, and we're going to start with the Major League Baseball hot stove. And it is sizzling right now. First off, my team, the New York Yankees, have re-signed DJ LeMahieu for a 6-year, $90 million deal. But wait, my fellow Yankee fans, there's more. Our pitching staff has just received a very welcome new addition. Corey Kluber has signed with the Yankees for a 1-year, $11 million deal. And then from there, the Washington Nationals, they have bolstered their pitching staff as they have signed the wily veteran, Jon Lester. Jon Lester signing with the Washington Nationals. I don't have the specifics on that, but if I can get them, I'll share them. But nonetheless, Jon Lester has signed with the Washington Nationals. Well, hold on. It's a 1-year deal. I don't know how much it's worth. But it's just known to be a 1-year deal, and I don't know if what the salary is for that. And then late Tuesday night, the Toronto Blue Jays made a humongous splash of their own. George Springer, formerly of the Houston Astros, signing with the Toronto Blue Jays a 6-year, $150 million deal, the largest free agent contract handed out by the team in its history. Well, okay. As far as LeMahieu and Kluber coming to the Yankees, both of these guys are impact players, and they help put the Yankees in position to once again contend for a World Series championship. Kluber comes with some risk. He showed enough in a bullpen audition session for clubs interested in his services to earn a contract from the Yankees. Other teams wanted his services, but can he stay healthy? Have his skills diminished? The Yankees would hope to use Kluber as a Bulldogs starter in the postseason. For LeMahieu, he returns to a place where he continued to flourish after leaving the Colorado Rockies. LeMahieu has the ability and the experience to be a game-changing force at the top of the Yankee batting order. He can set the tone for impressive offensive damage from a pretty complete group of professional hitters. Baseball fans living in New York should sit back and relax as they watch their team add pieces to their big league rosters to get the best of their major league opponents. So I, for one, couldn't be any more delighted about both signings. I mean, LeMahieu was a stud last year. He was in the MVP voting. And then from there, Kluber, a former Cy Young Award winner in his own right, back in his Cleveland days, a perfect number 2 starter to complement Garrett Cole. So I am hopeful that these moves will benefit the Yanks in the long run, because it has been a very long time since they have tasted a World Series championship. We haven't seen one of those since 2009. in recent years, they've come close to getting there. 2017 and 2019, getting to the ALCS, but getting upended both times by the Houston Astros. We'll get to Springer in a minute. But Jon Lester, on the other hand, 1-year deal, that's all I know. He rejoins Dave Martinez, the current Nationals manager and former Cubs bench coach from the 2016 World Series team. And he'll also be reunited with Kyle Schwarber, because Kyle Schwarber, as we concluded, as we talked about last week on this show, he signed with the Nats. But while no longer an ace of a staff, Lester brings a great postseason resume with him to Washington, and it can fit nicely behind Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg, and Patrick Corbin in the rotation. Toward the end of a successful 6-year run with the Cubs, Lester's numbers began to go south. But every time he was counted out, he showed he could adjust and produce. And that includes this past season. He started out hot, then he took a 5-game dip before he fixed his mechanics, and he finished with a deceptive 5.16 ERA. But 3 of his final 4 starts produced a 1.06 ERA, though he did not get a chance to pitch in the postseason, as the Chicago Cubs were swept in 2 games in that wild card series by the Miami Marlins. Lester is in the final stages of his career and is old school in the sense that pitcher wins still matter to him. He has 193 career wins, but the times when he has really shined in his career have come in October, during which he has produced a 2.51 career postseason ERA. 200 wins and a chance at another title while cementing his Hall of Fame credentials are what's on Lester's mind as he begins the final phase of his career. He won't do it with velocity or pure stuff, but he hasn't forgotten how to pitch. Now, as for George Springer, well, Blue Jay fans, it's a great day to be you guys. It is not often that you get to see free agents in any sport signing a 9-figure deal to come and play north of the border. But that's what happened when your Blue Jays signed George Springer to a 6-year, $150 million deal, largest free agent deal ever handed out by the Blue Jays in team history. A roller coaster, and this was a roller coaster of an offseason for Toronto. But the climax seems to be one filled with satisfaction and excitement despite stomach-churning turns when the Padres and Mets decided to compete and vie for every major available player and trader via free agency. But the Blue Jays have finally landed the white whale fans had been hoping for to augment its young and talented core. No matter how you slice and dice it, George Springer is a massive addition to this Blue Jays lineup. Right out of the gate, he's their best hitter on this team, as well as an improvement in center field defense. Since his service time manipulated rookie year in 2014, Springer ranks 18th in wins above and FWAR across all position players and 5th among outfielders, behind Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, Christian Yelich, and Bryce Harper. An above-average offensive player all around. Since coming up to the majors, his WRC has continued to climb from 129 in 14 to 146 last year for an average of 134 over his career. And in addition, he provides improved defense over Randall Grichuk, the Blue Jays' presumed starting center fielder until late Tuesday night, as well as improved base running. And this makes Toronto instantly better. A team that went 32-28 last year, an 86-win pace during a full season, means adding a player like Springer can get you close to the 90 wins you may need in a full season to compete for a wild card spot. Given the 2 teams in the AL East, the Yankees and Tampa, would compete for a division title, adding players like Springer and Kirby Yates puts Toronto in a position to secure one of the 2 wild card spots. Of course, with uncertainty this year around playoffs, with MLB hoping for another extended playoffs this year, Blue Jays today are in a pretty good position to play October baseball than they were a few days ago. And adding Springer offers Toronto a lot of different options when it comes to roster management, and hitting at the top of the order pushes all the kids down a spot. Springer adds approximately 4 wins to the Blue Jays this year and has him produced at a high level for the next 3 years before he starts to drop off. And he is unquestionably the guy. And his presence should ease off some pressure for other players to continue their development. So, some might say overpaid. Yeah, probably. But that's a moot point. That's what it took for Toronto to sign Springer. And given the suppressed player salaries early in their careers and the value Springer produced during that time, means he deserves every bit of this deal. It also sheds a couple of narratives that free agents don't like coming north and that Blue Jays ownership is cheap. But 2 off seasons in a row, they've handed out big contracts despite playing in a pandemic-affected environment. So I'm thrilled for Toronto, and they are going to give the Yanks and Tampa some major fits, especially the Yanks, because we all know he is a Yankee killer. You talk about John Lester being clutch in postseason from the pitching side. George Springer, one of the most clutch hitters in postseason history. Don't believe me? Ask Dodger fans from 2017 in the World Series when he was the MVP. He has been so clutch in this postseason, and the thought of the Yankees playing this guy 18 times a year instead of the handful in Houston. Oh Lord, that definitely worries me as a Yankee fan, and I'm sure it worries Derek Ferreira too. But nonetheless, great moves all around, and it definitely makes this season a lot more interesting than it did before. So not much more to say. MF, the Joe Buck to my Tim McCarver here. What do you make of all these big moves?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Look, the New York Yankees really needed to do something. I think Yankee fans were getting a little antsy, hoping for something big to happen. And not only did you get one player, which was the DJ LeMahieu, where there was a lot of dissension going on at the time. A lot of people, even Derek Ferreira, even talked about it. He felt like DJ was going to leave. He didn't think that it was possible that the Yankees were going to be able to keep him. And, an 11th hour deal happened, and LeMahieu re-signed with the Yankees. That was a big get. And then to get Corey Kluber, one-time Cy Young Award winner, if you remember, he was one of the more dominant pitchers for the Cleveland Indians for a number of years, and a lot of people felt like, oh my God, getting Kluber now, maybe a little too late. We don't know what type of guy he was. If this was Corey Kluber, the Cy Young Award winner, coming off that run, coming off an appearance in the World Series, that would have been more deadlier for the New York Yankees. To get him would have been a monster boost for the team, and it really would have made them perennial favorites in the American League. But you never know with Corey Kluber what we're going to get. We're going to see how he plays out, but it's still a big get. And it's still must needed because, with the pitching staff being where they are right now, you kind of have to feel like right now, the best team in the AL East is actually the Tampa Rays. Being World Series competitors a year ago, you kind of feel like they haven't really changed that much. They're still a very strong and dangerous team, but Toronto's now dangerous. You got George Springer. Anthony, you alluded to it. That's a major get for them. That, you could add that pieces of the puzzle. They almost got Michael Brantley. If they would have gotten Brantley, that probably would have made them the favorites in the American League. For the first time, we'd be talking about maybe the Toronto Blue Jays making a run at the World Series, and it's been a long time for them since they've gone to the World Series. As a matter of fact, since 1993, there was those 2 years where they won the World Series, 1992, 1993, and they haven't been really relevant or even made it that far to the Fall Classic. Now, they've been in the playoffs. They got to the divisional series a few years ago, but they've never really broke through, never really got to the big show.
MF, in 2015 and 16, they got to the ALCS, but they did lose to Kansas City and Cleveland, respectively.
Yeah. but making it to the ALCS is one thing. I'm talking about World Series. There's a major difference, Anthony. And you know that better than anybody else.
Absolutely.
Making it to the World Series is your ultimate dream.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good to make it to the ALCS, but you want to be in the Fall Classic. You want to play for the Commissioner's Trophy. And they've only done that twice.
Yep.
They've been there twice. They won it twice. They haven't been there since.
Nope.
That's what I mean.
That's
So,
right. Just to clear that up.
So, that's where you got on that. Now, we got to see how they play out. The Leicester deal going to Washington, that's a nice deal. 1 year, $5 million, Anthony. That's the magic number you were looking for. $5 million.
Okay.
So, it's a 2-year base salary, but with performance bonuses and everything else, if he makes it to a certain amount, it could stretch up to $5 million. So it's a 1 year, $2 million, but there's a chance with performance bonuses, with as far as he makes it, like number of innings pitched, number of strikeouts, how far do you take the Nationals to the playoffs? If you make an all-star team, he could get up to $5 million. That's the deal that he could get. So, it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. I think that's the best thing that we could talk about. We'll have to wait and see how all this shapes up. But there's still some more hot stove stuff. The next domino to drop, believe it or not, is JT Realmuto. He's actually up for grabs right now, and I can tell you, 3 teams are fighting for him, and it's all in the NL East. The Atlanta Braves, the Washington Nationals, and obviously the Philadelphia Phillies wants to hold on to Realmuto, but Atlanta and Washington are coming, and they're breathing down their necks. And as far as what I know as of now, it's a 2-horse race between the Phillies and the Braves. If Atlanta should some way, somehow snatch JT Realmuto away from the Phillies, Atlanta becomes even more dangerous in the NL East. So we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. There's a lot more hot stove that still needs to be situated, but as of now, Anthony, it's yours.
All right, MF, we're gonna move over to the NFL, and we're gonna remain with the NFL for the rest of the show. First things first, the coaching carousel. We have another new hire. That makes 6 new hires, and they are as follows in no particular order. The Jacksonville Jaguars, Urban Meyer. Whew. Wow. That might be the biggest that is without question the biggest name of these 6. But Urban Meyer, the new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The New York Jets have a new head man of their own, former 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh. The Atlanta Falcons reached an agreement with former Tennessee Titan offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. The Los Angeles Chargers hired former LA Rams defensive coordinator Brandon Staley. The Detroit Lions tapped former Saints assistant and Dolphins interim coach and an old friend of MF's, Dan Campbell. And earlier today, the 6th hiring was made by the Philadelphia Eagles, who landed former Indianapolis Colts offensive coordinator Nick Sirianni. MF, you got to have some serious thoughts on this coaching carousel. Look at all these names. Oh, my goodness. Already 6 new hires. How about it?
Yeah, and we're not even done because you still got a couple of teams left. Houston still needs to make a move. And right now, they finally got Eric Bieniemy for an interview. Does he land in Houston? Does that actually ease the pain of Deshaun Watson? Because Watson wants out. I know you've been hearing the news. I know you've been hearing all the chaos that's been going on. Deshaun Watson wants out of Houston in the worst possible way right now. But they're going after a guy that he wants. Eric Bieniemy is what Houston's been looking for. If he lands and goes to Houston, that might ease Watson to stay, and that would end any debate of Watson wanting out of Houston in the worst possible way. And you've been hearing the rumors about that. But, first off, mad props to the Jacksonville Jaguars, man. Urban Meyer. I mean, we know how great he is. We know what a legendary coach he was in college. Florida Gators won 2 national championships with Tim Tebow as the head man over there. Then went to Ohio State. And, trust me, I was fine with them going to Florida. I was fine with him when he went to Florida. I despised him when he was with Ohio State because of... Huh?
Well documented.
Oh, yeah. You don't even need to get there. So, that's a big hire there. Then with the New York Jets, Robert Saleh. Okay, now a lot of people are like, really? Robert Saleh to the Jets? It makes a lot of sense. A great defensive mind. And remember, Saleh was the defensive coordinator of one of the best defenses in the NFL about a year ago. That was one of the reasons why the San Francisco 49ers made it all the way to the Super Bowl. He's a part of that crew and got there in an incredible team. And yeah, this year wasn't the better year, but again, a lot of injuries. COVID was running wild. So we didn't really get to see the Niners where they were. We didn't get to see the full Niner arsenal this time around. But he's still a good head coach. And for the Jets to pull that off and get, him, that's a major boost for them. The Jets will still be in the basement. They'll still be the doormat. But at least now they got a quarterback, a head coach that's reliable. That defense is going to get upgraded next year because he's a defensive mind. He's going to be really good. If they get a good offensive coordinator and really start to work with Sam Darnold or whoever the quarterback may be, because, there's rumors right now that they might actually get Justin Fields, the quarterback from the Ohio State University. Always got to remember, the Ohio State. If they get him, now you got yourself a dilemma. What do you do with Sam Darnold? Do you keep him or do you send him packing to somewhere else? We'll wait and see how that goes. We'll go from there. Then you got a lot going on and a lot of things to think about, and that is, what is the future of some of these other coaches? Dan Campbell going to Detroit. Look, I loved Campbell. Dan Campbell was the guy who took over for Joe Philbin after Philbin absolutely crapped the bed with the Miami Dolphins, and we wanted him out in the worst possible way. Then this guy showed some moxie, he showed some fight, and you could tell the Dolphins were changing. Their attitude was different. They were more fired up. They were fighting for this guy. That's why we wanted him so badly to really become the guy. And unfortunately, that didn't work out. We got Adam Gase. There was a couple of good years with him. Then everything went downhill. Now we got Robert Flores. Now we got Brian Flores. And look out below. Hello. Miami's looking great now. Now we got a team. We got a squad. They're looking dangerous. Whoo-wee. That's a good signing there. So Detroit, you got yourself a good coach. Good luck with them. The others, I don't really know much about, Anthony. Just out of the three that I mentioned, those are the biggest three names that were out there right now. But like I said, the only other name, significant name, that still hasn't dropped yet is Eric Bieniemy. That's the big one. That's the big fish. Houston's got an inside track right now. If they land him, that's a game changer. Because I truly believe if they get Eric Bieniemy, Deshaun Watson will rescind any idea of a trade or anything else because then you would have gotten his guy. At that point, all these trade rumors of Miami, the Jets,
New England.
New England, all those rumors will go down in flames because Deshaun Watson will finally be happy because of the fact that they finally listened to him and got the guy that he wanted in the squad. Nothing more to say, Anthony. It's yours.
Yeah, agreed. Of course, the biggest name obviously is Urban Meyer. MF alluded to it, taking both Florida and Ohio State to national championships. But let's also not forget he had some great success in Utah as well before he went to Florida and Ohio State. But over the last couple of years, he was working with Fox Sports as part of their college football coverage during their. He was with the pregame panel. He was with Rob Stone, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, and Brady Quinn, and he did a really good job with that. He really did, but he definitely makes Jacksonville a lot better. And oh, by the way, he just hired he just added Darrell Bevell as his offensive coordinator, and we all know Darrell Bevell's offensive track record now, don't we? I mean, with Seattle and with Minnesota, and of course he took over on an interim basis for Matt Patricia in Detroit before they went with Campbell. But that's a big offensive name for Urban Meyer to get on his staff in Jacksonville. And they have a new general manager in Trent Baalke, the former 49er general manager. So big things happening in Jacksonville right now. Not just AEW, but also the Jags. I mean, who knows? Maybe this could be a shot in the arm for them, because that team has not been the same ever since they choked away the AFC Championship a few years ago against New England. But I'm telling you, I mean, Jacksonville could be a team to watch for in years to come. Saleh going to the Jets, absolutely. I mean, he was the architect of that outstanding defense for the Niners last year that got them to the Super Bowl. Should have won the Super Bowl, but then they choked it away against Kansas City in that fourth quarter, as we all remember. But he is one of the best defensive minds, and he definitely makes the Jets a little bit better. No question about that. So I'm sure Jet fans are probably encouraged by this hire. And then Campbell, of course, going to Detroit, like MF said. I mean, MF knows him better than I do because of his time in Miami, which he did a great job with, but not good enough though. But good hire for them. Don't know much about the other guys. I mean, Arthur Smith going to Atlanta. I mean, it was Dan Quinn this past year, but he got let go during the season. They brought in Raheem Morris as the interim, but they obviously didn't pursue him permanently. They decided to go for another name, Arthur Smith. He was the guy who was the architect of that Titans offense, Derrick Henry in them. So I think he might be the reason why Derrick Henry is such a damn beast nowadays. So we'll see how that offense changes with him gone. And Brandon Staley was the defensive coordinator of the Rams. So he's staying in the same stadium, SoFi, but he's not going to be with the Rams. He's going to be now the head man with the Chargers. And he's already said, I'm going to make sure I connect with Justin Herbert. So, to get Herbert going, to come off the great year that Herbert had out of nowhere. And then Sirianni, the former Colt coordinator, he's going to Philly. Many are speculating that this move was made, to keep Carson Wentz happy, because, Carson Wentz is very unhappy in Philly, just like Deshaun Watson is in Houston. But we'll have to see how that all works out for Philly. He takes over for Doug Peterson. And then from there, I don't know if I missed anybody. I don't know. I'm not sure if I missed anybody. I think I got everybody. So very interesting coaching carousel indeed. So we're definitely going to be keeping an eye out for to see how these teams play out when we get to September. No doubt about that. When they start a new slate, a clean slate. So, so with that being said, let's move on. We have one more quick story to get into before we get into our main event, and that is Philip Rivers is calling it a career. Philip Rivers retires from the NFL, ending a 17-year career spent with the San Diego / Los Angeles Chargers and the Indianapolis Colts, ending his career as one of the most prolific quarterbacks in NFL history. He spent this past season with the Colts after 16 years with the Chargers. He said in a statement yesterday that playing quarterback in the NFL was his childhood dream. While Rivers never played in a Super Bowl, it was one of the few glaring omissions on an otherwise remarkable resume. He ranks 5th in NFL history with 63,440 passing yards, behind only, get this lineup, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Brett Favre. The 8-time Pro Bowler also is 5th in league history with 421 touchdown passes, again behind only Brady, Brees, Manning, and Favre. He said in a statement that he wanted to announce his retirement on January 20th, which is the Roman Catholic Church's feast day for Saint Sebastian, often referred to as the patron saint for athletes. The announcement also came exactly 13 years to the day after Rivers played with a torn ACL in the then San Diego Chargers loss to the undefeated New England Patriots in that year's AFC Championship game in Foxborough. Every year, January 20th is a special and emotional day, Rivers said. It is St. Sebastian's feast day, the day I played in the AFC Championship without an ACL. And now the day that after 17 seasons, I'm announcing my retirement from the National Football League. Thank you, God, for allowing me to live out my childhood dream of playing quarterback in the NFL. And between his trademark throwing style and his penchant for trash talking without cussing, Rivers carved out his own niche in the NFL and retires as the Chargers franchise record holder in every major passing category. And even the Chargers reached out to him, congratulating Rivers on his retirement on Twitter, saying there will never be another. And owner Dean Spanos called him the heart and soul of the organization for many years. This past year, he threw for 4,169 yards and 24 touchdowns this season, leading the Colts to an 11-5 record and a wild card berth in the AFC playoffs. Indianapolis was eliminated with a 27-24 loss to the Buffalo Bills. And the Colts, who added Rivers to provide stability at quarterback after Andrew Luck's surprising retirement before the 2019 season, he also reached out on Twitter saying, "Thank you, Philip." And Frank Reich said earlier this month he had hoped Rivers would come back for this season, and he thought Philip still had a lot of good football left. But nonetheless, a great career, no question about it. You can easily make an argument saying that that he was maybe one of the best quarterbacks to never win a Super Bowl, and you can definitely make that argument. Although, in my opinion, the best quarterback to never win a Super Bowl was Dan Marino, but he's definitely up there. And this is a statement that he put out. I already mentioned some of it. There are other parts I forgot to mention. He went on to say, "I am grateful to the Chargers for 16 seasons and the Colts for the 17th season. Thank you to all my coaches that helped me grow as a player in person. Thanks to the support staff. I appreciate the opposing defenses making it challenging physically and mentally every week. I also enjoyed the banner. I appreciate the referees for putting up with all my fussing. I think I was right most of the time, dadgummit. Thanks to the fans in San Diego and around the nation that both cheered and booed. Special thanks to my teammates. Without a doubt, my favorite part of the game, being a teammate. Thank you for being mine. Lastly, thank you to my wife and best friend, Tiffany, and our children, Hallie, Caroline, Grace, Gunnar, Sarah, Peter, Rebecca, Claire, and Anna. Could not have done it without y'all's unwavering support. As my playing career comes to an end, the next chapter begins." And obviously that's being a full-time husband and father to all of those kids. I mean, 9 kids, for goodness sakes. Man, God bless him. That's all I can say on that. So, and of course, the debate will go on. Is Philip Rivers a Hall of Famer? Is he Hall of Fame worthy? A lot of debate about this, and we don't know. I mean, only time will tell. I mean, a lot of people say yes, a lot of people say no because of the fact that he never won a Super Bowl. But with the numbers, I mean, based on the numbers, I think the numbers might be good enough. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. But it's hard to argue with his accomplishments and how his ability helped usher in the league's passing boom. 8-time Pro Bowler, and I mentioned all of the numbers. Even without a Super Bowl ring on his finger, Rivers' teams finished his career with a combined record of 134 and 106. Speaking to the level he was able to raise his teams to, never more evident in 2018 when he led the Chargers to a 12-4 record despite a roster that was largely in shambles around him. But without an All-Pro selection or a Super Bowl, Rivers is an unbelievably intriguing candidate for the Hall of Fame. After all, how much can he be faulted for playing at the same time as the likes of Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers, and a number of other all-time greats, especially when he still produced incredibly over that span. And according to Pro Football Reference's Hall of Fame monitor, Rivers has a rating of 97.64. while the average quarterback in the Hall of Fame is 101.39. Thus, it'll be interesting to see if the North Carolina State product eventually makes it in. Regardless, it's sad to see a veteran of his caliber go, but Rivers undoubtedly has earned this time off and this retirement. So on behalf of all of us here at Strictly Sports, we want to wish Philip Rivers the absolute best in his retirement, the absolute best in his future endeavors, which I'm sure as of now will be being a full-time husband and father, and who knows, maybe a broadcasting career later on in life. I don't know. We'll see. But to Philip Rivers, we thank you for the memories. We thank you for the inspiration. And we thank you for Philip Rivers and all the memories and all the fun that we had calling your games and covering your games. MF and I covered a lot of them. So not much more to say. MF, Philip Rivers, calling it a career. What a career.
Yeah, without a doubt. Tremendous NFL career, 17 years, like you said. Many accolades that he has done. The only thing he never really did was win a Super Bowl. He got to the AFC Championship game, but unfortunately didn't bring it all the way home, which was very sad, to say the very least. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, he had an incredible career. As far as what he's going to do after now, he's actually going to become a high school coach. He actually has a job lined up already. This was actually before his final season where he went to Indianapolis. They did say that they were going to start they had companies ready to go for him. And yeah, so for Indianapolis, this is a big moment for them. And, now the search is on for a new quarterback for them. For Philip Rivers, an amazing career is done. Now, I guess the real debate is now going to be, is it Hall of Fame worthy? Now, honestly, I'm going to say I think he'll eventually get in, but don't expect him to get on the first ballot. A lot of the times, you got to be really, really, really special in order to get on the first ballot. A lot of the times, you got to be like maybe greatest of all time, or a Super Bowl winner, or you just have to have a longevity of a career that would make you worthy of first ballot Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, I don't think that Philip fits that criteria, but I do believe that after a while, he should be he will be a Hall of Famer. I do believe he should be eventually. I just don't think he'll get it at the very beginning. So, nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
MF, it's main event time.
All right.
Are we ready for this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, baby. Oh, I've been chomping at the bits for this one. Oh, baby. Here we go. The main event of this show. Chomping at the bits for this. Here we go, folks. It don't get no bigger than this. Conference championship weekend in the National Football League. We will start it off with the NFC Championship game. The number 5 seed, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, squaring off against the number 1 seed, the Green Bay Packers, from the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. And it will literally be the frozen tundra. Forecast is calling for cold temperatures. I believe I saw upper 20s, and I even heard some rumblings of snow. Oh boy. And and of course on the call for that one, Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Aaron Andrews, Tom Rinaldi, Green Bay opening up as a 3.5-point favorite. And this is not the first time these two teams have met in the postseason. They do have some postseason history. They met once before. It came back in January of 1998. They met in the NFC divisional playoff at Lambeau Field, and the Green Bay Packers won that game by a score of 21-7. And that's the only postseason meeting between these two teams, these former divisional rivals, renewing one of the great division rivalries, especially in the late 90s and the early 2000s in the old NFC Central. Buccaneers have not won at Lambeau since 2005, 17-16. So that's the schematic here. So I think we have all the schematics here. So MF, Tom Brady and the Pack, and now here's the thing, there are some storylines in this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The big story is this. Think about this for a moment, MF. You know how much we love to say history has been made. History has been made, especially you, channeling Gorilla Monsoon, which we all love when we do the wrestling show. But we could actually bring that to this, because if Tampa Bay wins this game, MF, they will make history by becoming the first team to ever literally be the home team in the Super Bowl, because the NFC team is the home team this year. So they would literally be the home team. So can Tampa Bay make history, or will Green Bay and the American hero Aaron Rodgers be just too much? And as we agreed, you know how we're going to break it down. Who's got the offensive advantage, in the passing and running game, and as well as the special teams, the coaches, intangibles, X factors. Who's representing the NFC in the Super Bowl? Are we going to have a literal home team, or is the American hero going to be too much?
No, well, here's the thing. If you talk about quarterback play, it's a complete and utter wash. I mean, when you got Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady being the two guys who's going to be leading these teams, no doubt about it, it's a draw. You can't pick one over the other. I would give a slight edge to Aaron Rodgers, though, but that would be one factor. 2, running game. Again, little tight. It could go either way, but I would probably say slight advantage to Tampa on that. Receiving core, going into this, I was going to say Green Bay all the way. But Antonio Brown's been looking really good. Mike Evans has gotten a lot better. Chris Godwin's been a lot better. Gronk is looking good. So Tampa's got the advantage on the receiving core. Offensive line, it's Green Bay. Hardly you ever see Rodgers under duress or anything else, where Tampa's offensive line, Brady's had some good moments. He's also wound up on the turf, getting sacked a lot, more than anything else. Defensively, which is my specialty, now in the first matchup, Tampa Bay abused Green Bay. Abused them so badly, the game was over before even halftime. But you're in Lambeau. Green Bay's a lot stronger, a lot better at home than they are on the road. So I'm going to give the advantage to Green Bay. Special teams, Green Bay. A big advantage on that side of the ball. When it comes to kicking, when it comes to punting, all that stuff gives you Green Bay. Coaching-wise, this is kind of a wash here. Bruce Arians has gone to a Super Bowl before. And with Green Bay, more of a younger crew, more of a different setup. So you're kind of feeling like maybe Tampa's got the coaching advantage. Overall, X factor is going to be Aaron Jones, or what I like to call AA Jones, Aaron Jones. He's going to be running the football. If he gets going, that's the offensive line that you're going to be looking at. And if it's going to be snow, if there's going to be bad weather, this would actually be great for Green Bay because they're in that cold weather. They love this style of weather. They know how to play with it. Tampa's not familiar with cold weather. That also will be an X factor. How do you adapt to the elements under duress in this kind of a moment? Green Bay is made for this game. The aura of Lambeau Field, knowing the history of the game, knowing the history of this moment, Green Bay wins the National Football Conference Championship. My final score is 24-17. The Packers clinches the spot for the first time since Super Bowl 45. The Cheeseheads goes to Tampa to play for the Super Bowl. That's my prediction, Anthony. Green Bay wins it 24-17. What's yours?
Get ready for the most Jim Nantz and Joe Buck I've ever gone. I promised you very detailed preview on my end, and I'm not going to disappoint. Here you go. Wait till you hear this. By the way, I forgot to mention the kickoff for all of you who just in case you might not know, 3:05 p.m. Eastern time on Fox. So check your local Fox affiliate, especially those of you in Tampa and Green Bay, which we all know they will. Especially all of you Green Bay fans on WLUK Channel 11. And I believe it's WTKT Channel 13 in Tampa. So, they'll be ready, as well as all of us, and especially us here in Rhode Island on our Fox Providence affiliate. But anyways, when Tom Brady's Buccaneers travel to play Aaron Rodgers' Packers in Sunday's NFC Championship game, it doesn't get more marquee than that. Brady is playing in his 14th conference title game after making 13 such AFC appearances with the New England Patriots. He is looking for a shot at his 7th Super Bowl ring in Super Bowl 55. Meanwhile, Rodgers is playing at home with a Super Bowl berth on the line for the first time in Lambeau Field, 10 years after he led the Packers on a successful Super Bowl 45 run as an NFC wildcard team. The Bucs are also trying to get the glory as a wildcard. The Packers were the best team record-wise, wire-to-wire in the NFC, with the league's highest-scoring offense that should return Rodgers to NFL MVP status. Who will win this battle of number 12's number 1 seed versus number 5 seed? Using some key numbers, here's a deep dive into the matchup between Tampa Bay and Green Bay, a rematch of a Week 6 game that the Buccaneers won at home 38-10. Buccaneers running game versus Packers run defense. The Buccaneers can get too downfield pass happy under Bruce Arians, as Brady also likes taking his shots against one-on-one coverage. They can get enamored by Brady's myriad of receiving weapons at wide out and tight end, where they can go away from power football even when it's right there for the taking. Tampa Bay ended up with the number 28 rushing offense in the regular season. The Packers, despite a few hiccups, ended up in the top half. Number 13 against the run, tied too many teams needing to throw, often trying to play catch-up with Rodgers in the second half. The Rams gashed the Packers well with rookie Cam Akers before game script forced them to go away from the run in the second half. The Buccaneers dropped 30 carries in a split between Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones to pile up 127 yards on a good Saints run defense. They stuck with it until they got key second half chunks, and Fournette also was a force in the short passing game. In the first meeting, the Bucs nicely featured Jones, 23 carries, 113 of his team's 158 rushing yards, 2 TDs, as they won going away 38-10 after spotting the Packers a 10-point lead in the first quarter. Should the Bucs stay committed to the run again, as they should to work the clock and try to limit opportunities for Rodgers to answer Brady, they will have another solid ground game with their offensive line playing stout. Advantage Bucs. Packers running game versus Bucs run defense. Again, I say advantage Bucs. The Packers pounded well on the Rams with their number 8 rushing attack getting to nearly 200 yards, with mostly pending free agents Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams pushing through. The Bucs' top-ranked run defense had some issues with the Saints' Alvin Kamara, but overall contained a very strong power running game. The Bucs simply don't spring many leaks up front and are all around much more sound than the Rams were in that capacity. They would prefer to not commit an extra defender to run support so defensive coordinator Todd Bowles isn't handcuffed with his back 7 blitzes. Other than a couple long runs from Williams and rookie A.J. Dillon, there wasn't much room for them or Aaron Jones. The Bucs should be confident they can at least keep the Packers one-dimensional to give Todd Bowles a better idea of how to pressure Rodgers. Advantage Bucs. Bucs passing game versus Packers pass defense. Advantage Bucs. The Bucs were number 2 in the NFL in passing, sandwiched between the AFC finalists Kansas City and Buffalo. They have trusted Brady plenty with high volume and throwing downfield often, because it is Bruce Arians after all. The Packers were number 7 against the pass with a combination of the Smith brothers, Preston and Za'Darius, putting some edge pressure and Jair Alexander and Adrian Amos leading a fine secondary. Brady leaned on the run well in week 6, didn't hold the ball long, and was calculated in mostly spreading the ball around on short to intermediate routes. He should have a few shots to develop off play action. The Packers do a good job of covering tight ends, and Alexander could once again slow down Mike Evans. But the Bucs can scheme to get slot Chris Godwin and their other wide receivers open away from Alexander. Advantage Bucs. Packers passing game versus Bucs pass defense. The Packers had the number 9 passing attack during the regular season. Rodgers could have thrown for a lot more to pad his already MVP-worthy stats, but the Packers were in control of many matchups in the second half, turning games over to effective running and pass defense. The Bucs have good young defensive backs led by corner Carlton Davis and rookie safety Antoine Winfield Jr. They also have 2 savvier 3-4 edge rushers for Bowles in Jason Pierre-Paul and Shaquille Barrett. But sometimes there's a disconnect, and the Buccaneers have been more vulnerable to some chunk plays, either after the catch on the second level or as a result of breakdowns downfield. The Packers work to get Devontae Adams open in key spots away from the Rams' Jalen Ramsey, and will do the same against Davis, Sean Murphy-Bunting, and Jamel Dean. The Bucs need linebackers Devin White and Levante David to have another good coverage game after they dominated against the Saints. Still, Rodgers will find the holes, take advantage whenever the lapses happen, and settle into a few matchups he likes. Rodgers will be motivated to make up for his shaky Week 6 in Tampa Bay and will stay on point in a high-level locked-in QB duel with Brady. Advantage, Packers. X factors, the Packers and Bucs have some ancillary players in the passing game who could surprise to boost Brady and Rodgers with big plays. The Packers saw wide receivers Allen Lazard and Equanimeous St. Brown have big moments against the Rams. The Bucs wouldn't have beaten the Saints without clutch catches from Tyler Johnson, Scotty Miller, and number 2 tight end Cameron Brate. The running backs also can be key on checkdowns, with the defenses worrying about all the other pieces. Advantage Packers. Special teams, the field goal games are pretty even, with the Packers' Mason Crosby and the Bucs' Ryan Suckup, although they are more known for accuracy than range. The Packers have had a notoriously bad return game this season, while the Bucs aren't that much better. The Packers' J.K. Scott and the Bucs' Bradley Pinion make this close in punting. The Bucs struggled in coverage against the Saints, and it nearly cost them. Give the emotional and familiarity edge to the Lambeau team, too. Advantage Packers. Coaching, Bruce Arians has won a lot of games with different teams at age 68. Matt LaFleur, 27 years his junior at 41, has developed his own reputation as one of the game's sharpest offensive minds, and in 2 years leading Green Bay, he's done good situational work without any egregious mistakes. Arians teams can tend to get undisciplined at times, and between him, Byron Leftwich, and Bowles, they can get too aggressive at the wrong times. Advantage Packers. Intangibles, Brady wants to prove he can get to a Super Bowl without Bill Belichick and the Patriots. Rodgers, after the team drafted Jordan Love, has used that latest chip on his shoulder to have one of his greatest seasons too. The Bucs also know they can be the first team to play in the Super Bowl in their home stadium. There will be no lack of intensity on either side. Brady has done this often, but his Bucs are new to this stage. But the Packers are also are limited in big winning experience around Rodgers. Slight advantage to the Bucs. And finally, the prediction. This game will be an instant classic with Brady and Rodgers having an epic duel. This game will come down to whichever team has the ball last. With 10 meetings, Green Bay and Tampa Bay would each win 5. When Brady is involved in games like these and playing this well, it's hard to go against the 6th-ring GOAT, even with a 3-time MVP to be on the other side. But I have to go with the Green Bay Packers here. Would I be surprised if the Bucs win? Absolutely not. But I'm going with Green Bay to win this game. 30-27. Green Bay advances to Super Bowl 55. And they will head to Tampa. So with that being said, let's move on to the AFC Championship game. 6:40 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Hello, friends. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson, Evan Washburn, Jay Feely. Kansas City opening up as a 3-point favorite. These two teams have met 3 times in postseason before. The first was on New Year's Day, 1967. And by the way, all 3 of these previous meetings were in Buffalo. Kansas City defeated Buffalo 31-7, New Year's Day, 1967, for the AFL Championship. January of 92, they met in the divisional playoff in Buffalo. Buffalo won 37-14. In their last meeting, January of 94, in the AFC Championship game in Buffalo, Buffalo won 30-13 to advance to their 4th straight Super Bowl. So Buffalo leads the postseason series 2-1. So, and the weather forecast, by the way, is calling for, I believe, mid-30s with a chance of rain. So we might have to keep an eye on that. But we all know what the big story is. We'll get into that in a moment. But same thing as the other game. Here we are. The Kansas City Chiefs will be playing in their 3rd consecutive AFC Championship game when they host the Buffalo Bills on Sunday night. The reigning champions and conference top seed are 2 wins away from repeating in Super Bowl 55. Kansas City is in the playoffs for a 6th straight season. Meanwhile, 2nd-seeded Buffalo is in the playoffs for the 3rd time in 4 seasons after snapping an 18-year drought in 2017. The Chiefs last lost in the playoffs 2 years ago against Tom Brady's Patriots in this game. Will Josh Allen's Bills deliver the same result in Arrowhead Stadium, fresh off their first 2 playoff wins in 25 years? Assuming Patrick Mahomes returns from the head/neck injury that kept him out late of the Chiefs' 22-17 win over the Cleveland Browns in the divisional round, it will be a battle of passing quarterback heavyweights between Mahomes and Allen. When the teams met in Week 6 of the regular season, in Buffalo, the Chiefs won 26-17. Here's how Buffalo and Kansas City stack up against each other in all the phases. Bills running game versus Chiefs run defense. The Bills had the number 20 rushing attack in the NFL in 2020, getting a little better down the stretch and getting a boost from the legs of Allen, who leads the team in rushing so far in the playoffs. The Chiefs ranked number 21 against the run during the regular season. The Bills managed only 32 yards on 16 attempts against the Ravens in the divisional round. The Chiefs gave up 112 to the Browns at a clip of 5.1 yards a carry. Buffalo and Kansas City both tend to abandon the run when it's not working early. The Bills are comfortable keeping the ball in Allen's hands, knowing that he can often be their best rusher with his legs. But they are down to Devin Singletary to trust in the traditional attack with rookie running back Zach Moss done for the season with his ankle injury. The Bills aren't the best ball control team and won't be grinding away at the Chiefs' biggest weaknesses. They will take the approach of being aggressive with Allen to the point he can try to outduel Mahomes in a high-scoring affair. Advantage Chiefs. Chiefs running game versus Bills run defense. The Chiefs aren't known as a running team either, but they finished in the upper half of the league, ranking number 16, and averaged a healthy 4.5 yards a carry. The Bills ranked number 17 against the run during the regular season. That was the 3rd worst among playoff teams behind the Titans and Chiefs. There's a chance rookie Clyde Edwards-Helaire returns, but if not, the Chiefs would be fine pounding away with Darrell Williams, who needed only 13 carries to get 78 of his team's 123 yards against the Browns, outproducing Nick Chubb. In the first meeting, the Chiefs ran for 245 yards, with Edwards-Helaire getting 161 of them. Because of the running game having so much success to complement Mahomes, they held the ball for nearly 38 minutes. The Bills held their own against the Ravens' mighty rushing attack, but they still gave up 150 yards to mostly Lamar Jackson and Baltimore's backs. Before then, the Colts ran for 163 yards off 30 attempts in the wildcard meeting. Edwards-Helaire and Williams can be handfuls, with hard charging between the tackles. The running of Mahomes and backup Chad Henne were timely factors against the Browns. The Chiefs' offensive line has done a good job adjusting to injury and is imposing its will again. Advantage Chiefs. Bills passing game versus Chiefs pass defense. The Bills weren't far behind the Chiefs in prolific passing during the regular season, finishing 2 spots lower at number 3. They draw the number 14 pass defense here. The Chiefs haven't gotten a lot of sacks, 32, but they feature good inside-outside pressure with Chris Jones and Frank Clark in front of a versatile playmaking secondary led by Tyrann Mathieu. The Chiefs contained the big plays from Stephon Diggs and others in Week 6, but had their biggest struggles in the red zone. The Chiefs can throw different coverage and pressure looks at Allen. Those were effective in keeping him off balance in the first meeting. They can make the middle of the field daunting and be more calculated with their blitzes, knowing his success rate against them. Allen was great against the Colts, but shaky against the Ravens. He may see the middle covered often, but he should do more downfield damage this week. The Bills also should have some big play confidence after some of the Browns' success at wideout against the Chiefs last week. Advantage, Bills. Chiefs passing game versus Bills pass defense. The Chiefs' top-ranked passing offense will try to stay hot against the number 13 pass defense. They face an inconsistent pass rush of Buffalo that isn't much better than the one they saw from the shaky Browns last week. The Bills had multiple lapses in coverage against the Ravens last week and were fortunate that Lamar Jackson and Tyler Huntley weren't able to take advantage. The same won't happen with Patrick Mahomes. So top cornerback Tre'Davious White needs more secondary help, especially inside from nickelback Taron Johnson and safety Micah Hyde when the Chiefs spread the field. The Bills struggle more than most teams to cover high-quality tight ends, and Travis Kelce has been the best of the best this season. He burned them for 5 catches, 65 yards, and 2 touchdowns in Week 6. Tyreek Hill was limited to only 20 yards receiving in Week 6 as the Bills worked to take away the big play, but the Chiefs can scheme him open for deep shots or chances to run into open field after short passes. When Mecole Hardman and Demarcus Robinson are on the field with Kelce and Hill, the Bills simply cannot put out the right combination of size, speed, and quickness to slow all of them down from Mahomes. Advantage Chiefs. X factors, the Chiefs tend to push all the right buttons with their personnel usage and play calling. Hill and Mecole Hardman provide wrinkles in the running game. The defense has developed better depth in the front 7, providing more creativity there as well. The Bills have their version of occasional big playmakers and wide receivers Gabriel Davis and Isaiah McKenzie. They also have been on a stretch of scoring defensively. The Bills have the confidence, but the Chiefs are completely unflappable. Advantage Chiefs. Special teams, the Chiefs and Bills both have good kickoff return games with Hardman and Andre Roberts respectively. The Bills are a little better at fielding punts, and they have the punter edge with Corey Boyarquez versus Tommy Townsend. The Chiefs have a money kicker in Harrison Butker with good range, but rookie Tyler Bass is headed to a long career with his accuracy in tougher conditions too. Advantage Bills. Coaching, Andy Reid is on fire coaching with his decision-making and motivation. Eric Bieniemy and Steve Spagnuolo are coming up with the ideal complementary concepts offensively and defensively. Reid's former mentee, Sean McDermott, is also calling the right shots for his team. With huge schematic help from coordinators Brian Daboll and Leslie Frazier, McDermott has been a rising star since getting the Bills gig. But Reid has greater big game experience and the ring. Advantage Chiefs. Intangibles, Mahomes and the Chiefs want to go down as one of the league's all-time great teams and work to build a dynasty with a follow-up Super Bowl win. The Bills have good mojo too, as they try to restore the Super Bowl glory days with Allen. They have felt like they've gotten better all season and will take a fearless swing as underdogs. But the Chiefs are the new Patriots in the AFC with their intimidation factor and consistent execution in big moments. Advantage Chiefs. The Chiefs match up very well against the Bills because their run defense won't get exploited as much as their passing offense won't be slowed down much. Allen may try to play Mahomes' big-armed athletic game, but Mahomes is better performing against a lesser degree of difficulty. Kelce and the running game get some help from Hill or Hardman on a home run, while Allen faces intense pressure in a one-dimensional attack while playing catch-up. The Chiefs flip the script and limit the time Allen is on the field while they turn in another complete effort to lift up Mahomes. I believe Patrick Mahomes will play. I will be shocked if he doesn't. If he doesn't play and it ends up being Henny, Buffalo has a very realistic and puncher's chance to steal this thing. And let's face it, as a long-suffering Buffalo Bills fan, I have never wanted a game more than I want this one right now. I am gonna be doing a lot of praying during this game. Believe me. I mean, I never thought I'd see this in my lifetime, because when I became a Bills fan, I was a little kid. I wasn't really into football yet. I didn't get into football until I was around 11 or 12 years old, and that was just after the Bills' glory days with the 4 Super Bowls in a row. But unfortunately, I have to go with my gut. I got to be on from a professional standpoint, I have to go with Kansas City. But from a personal standpoint, I 100% fully believe in my Buffalo Bills, and I fully believe they have what it takes to pull off one of the greatest upsets in the history of this game, this AFC title game. I believe in you, Bills. I believe in you, Buffalo. And so does the rest of Bills Mafia. I just don't know if they can do it, though. I just don't like their chances. So I'm just going to assume Patrick Mahomes is going to get cleared, because we all know how competitive that young man is. And there's no way he's going to miss this game. There's no way. He's making strides. He's making progress from what I've last heard. That pretty much means he's going to be playing. If he doesn't, I will be the most surprised guy in the entire world. But I think it's going to be close for 3 quarters and into the fourth. But I think middle fourth, late fourth, I think Kansas City will get a game-sealing score, and they'll pull away late. Kansas City wins the AFC Championship, goes back to the Super Bowl, and takes one step closer to becoming the next great dynasty in the NFL. 30-17, Kansas City beats Buffalo. But do not be surprised if the Buffalo Bills somehow find a way to win this thing, with or without Mahomes. Let's go, Buffalo. Don't let me down. Don't let Bills Mafia down. We've waited so damn long for this. Let's finish the damn job. So, little mini rant over. Let's bring in the Phil Simms / Tony Romo to my Jim Nance. Good old MF Michael Fletcher. This is our Super Bowl right here, the AFC Championship. And what a beauty. Buffalo, Kansas City, Allen and Mahomes. Do that thing I like. Hello, friends.
You know what? This is a tough game to call, but the thing is that you're going up against the best team in the NFL. You're going up against the Kansas City Chiefs, and like you said, Mahomes is progressing. He's out of concussion protocol. He has been practicing the last couple of days. All indications from Andy Reid is that he will play on Sunday. That's a tough, tall order, but, if there's one team that can do it, it's Buffalo. I think they got the necessary weapons. I think they got the defense that could rattle the cage a little bit, but Anthony, you basically summed it up. I think Buffalo will keep it close. I just don't think they got enough of the horses to make it to the end. 31-23 is my final score. The Kansas City Chiefs wins the AFC title. They go back to the Super Bowl. They'll be playing Green Bay in Super Bowl 55. Anthony, there's nothing more to say. Let's just call it a night.
And if that happens, it would be a rematch of the very first Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So
how apropos would that be? That 54 years later, after the first, when it was the AFL NFL World Championship game, because it was not called Super Bowl back then, nope. Not until Super Bowl 3, but it would be the first time since the AFL NFL World Championship game that was in the LA Memorial Coliseum.
Yep.
We get to see these two teams go at it again for the Lombardi. And think about this. If Green Bay wins it all, that's number 6. They actually no. That would be 5. Super Bowl 1, Super Bowl 2,
Yes.
31, 45. This would be their 5th. This would tie them with the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers for the 3rd most in Super Bowl history.
Yeah, and they have won overall. If you include the NFL, they've won 13 championships.
Yeah, but we're talking Super Bowl era.
Correct.
So major difference. If it's Kansas City, if Kansas City wins it all,
they're third.
Then it's back to back, and they're 3rd overall. And
they become the next great dynasty in the NFL.
And you would have to consider them the next dynasty of the NFL. Yeah, they would take the mantle from the New England Patriots as possibly the next dynasty in the game.
And one more quick point before we wrap it up, and that is, imagine if Buffalo gets there. I mean, 30 years ago, this would be the 30th anniversary of their first Super Bowl appearance in 25. And what city was that played in?
It was Tampa at the old Sombrero.
Tampa Stadium.
Yeah, everybody remembers that. New York Football Giants, one of the most thrilling, exciting Super Bowls we've ever had.
Amen.
And it was also in the backdrop because remember, this was Operation Desert Storm. Yep. This was during the Gulf War. There was a lot going on at that time. So yeah, there was a lot of patriotism that was around this game, and for the two teams to make it there at the end in that stadium, yeah, it would be something more. But the thing is, a lot of these guys were not around when the Bills were there 30 years ago.
That is true.
That's a major difference. This is a wicked young team. So, that's the thing that I would have to ask. Are they scared of the moment? They've never been here before.
Nope.
AFC Championship game. Kansas City, this is another game for them. This is nothing new. If you're Buffalo, what are you thinking right now? That's what I'm thinking. Is what are you thinking? What is your mindset? Because you can't think about this as another game, because it isn't. You win this game, you get the golden ticket to the Super Bowl.
What a moment.
I mean, it don't get any bigger than this. So, yeah, this is without a doubt one of the biggest games, not only of Buffalo, but for Kansas City as well. For Kansas City, like you said, it continues the legacy talk. It continues the talk of legacy and the whole 9 yards. If Buffalo wins it, if Buffalo pulls off the upset and they knock off Kansas City and wins the AFC, gets the Lamar Hunt Trophy as the AFC champions,
oh my God.
I mean, it changes everything. Yep. The landscape of the AFC changes because now it becomes more wide open. Now you start thinking, not just Kansas City, but now do you put Buffalo as maybe the next team up? Where over on the NFC, if Brady makes it with Tampa Bay, it puts one more etch to the marker for Tom Brady as the greatest NFL player of all time. It would.
In MF, if Tampa gets there, they will for the first time ever, we would have a literal home team in the Super Bowl. Could you imagine that?
Yeah. It would be remarkable. It would be unbelievable. It would be a historic moment, no doubt. If you're Green Bay, if you're Aaron Rodgers, remember all of the chaos that started on draft night when they drafted Jordan Love with their first round draft pick.
Yes, I mentioned
and remember the chaos that ensued after that decision was made. What a proverbial moment for Aaron Rodgers to say that I took this team that was trying to run me out, thinking maybe I don't have anything left, and I just got you the Lombardi.
He's still in
I got you the Lombardi.
American
He
hero.
he already has done it once. If he does it twice and gets another Super Bowl for this team 10 years later, okay, wait a minute. Now we got to talk about Aaron Rodgers as one of those elite quarterbacks, like Eli, like Peyton, like Brady, like Roethlisberger. Because one is great. When you get one, that's one thing. To get two, and especially what he had to go through this year, oh my God. Championship weekend cannot come soon enough. And in the immortal words of one of my favorite shows on the internet, from Critical Role, what Matthew Mercer would say, is it Sunday yet?
I know. I mean, I've been on pins and needles all week, and as WWE Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler would say, MF, I got butterflies in my stomach the size of eagles right now.
Yeah, this is it.
You know how long I've been waiting for this?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
and to think how crazy this season has been. None of us thought, because remember, with COVID and everything else, we were wondering, were we even going to get a full season?
That's true.
Was this really going to happen? And now all of a sudden, here we are.
On schedule, on time.
Yeah.
I mean, there was talks of moving the Super Bowl possibly to the end of the month, if not later. But here we are. I mean, it looks like everything's going to be on track, and it looks like we're going to be ready to go. And I know it's not going to be the same with the Super Bowl. I know we're not going to have those 60 to 70,000 plus streaming fans, but we're still going to have about, 20, 25,000 at most?
About 20, 25, yes.
Which will be the same for WrestleMania, when WrestleMania comes to Raymond James in April. So, that stadium's going to be busy. But I'll tell you what, man, I mean, Buffalo. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I wanted Cleveland to win that game. I really did. I was rooting for them because you knew if Cleveland had won, the game would have been in
Buffalo would have been the home team, yeah.
And it would have been theirs to lose. It would have been theirs to lose. No doubt about it. But with this, I mean, the gut tells me to go with Kansas City, which I'm going to do. But I'm listening to my heart, man. My heart is telling me this team can do it. I believe. So, Bills Mafia, let's go. That's all I can say on that. WIVB Channel 4, CBS Buffalo, KCTV Channel 5, Kansas City. And for all of you other CBSers out there, look for your local affiliate, 640. And we'll have it on our affiliate, WPRI 12, here in Rhode Island. So, not much more to say. I mean, we could go all night about this, but we don't have that kind of time, so we got to wrap it up here. So with that being said, tomorrow night we got the Cerebral Smack Talk, Friday night SmackDown, and then starting Monday we'll do it all again with Ridiculously Raw, and we'll take it from there. Wednesday Night Mayhem, and then this show next week. We'll see what the docket holds. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, this is Anthony Florio signing off for good old MF Michael Fletcher, in his spirit, Michael Bullock, D.D. Woodson, and always and forever Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up 14-4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching Strictly Sports right here on the Zone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.